once a woman gives up financial independence to a mate, it's over.
Yep.
You have to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, then you're stuck. And more women have to accept lifestyles that are unpleasant because they are financially stuck. So if you're smart, you teach your daughters, teach your granddaughters. Everybody has to have something that they're good at where they can earn a living.
Women in poverty, I can control them better. A girl who can't afford to say, fuck you, Corey, I'm gone. She just can't afford to do it. So I take advantage of that. Now, that might be wrong, but her poverty and my needs, most of the time, it even out. I don't really need a lot of their time. And they don't tell me to fuck off because they know when I come over, they children can get some
Hold up. God damn.
some outlet Jordans.
Outlet Gucci.
Yeah.
Outlet Gucci. But how you speak of women, right? Where you want control. Is there ever...
I don't want control that is taken by force. I want control because I'm the one who is the leader of the pack. Naturally.
So could you see yourself in a situation where a woman makes as much as you or more than you?
I like women who make money, just I can't do nothing with you other than sleep with you. If you could take care of yourself, you're going to think you could talk to me. I don't like you talking to me a lot. I know you got your own money and all like that. So if you want to, we can hook up, hang out, do that for a minute. But I'm saying girls in poverty, because they have a deficiency. Poverty is a deficiency out here in America. I can fix your little deficiency if you do what I want you to do. I think it's an even exchange.
Yeah, but do you see how that comes off as...
No. How does it come off? It's this, look, we're exchanging services.
Okay, but that's not prostitution?
It's all prostitution. What's not prostitution? The only woman who not prostituting, not a woman that's married to their husband. Everything else you owe.
This clip received a lot of backlash online, but I'm not vexed about it. See, Corey just gave us a glimpse into a dangerous mindset, one that sadly exists in more places than we'd like to admit. When you rely on someone else to meet your financial needs, it opens the door to manipulation, control, and yes, financial abuse. Now, credit to him for at least being honest about his true intentions, because many would never say it out loud. But let this be a wake-up call. Relying on someone like this isn't love, it's vulnerability. Protect your independence, build your financial foundation, and create a life you control. Because the right partner, he'll want to see you strong, not struggling. Today's video is all about laying down a truth we sometimes need to hear, and that is, a man is not a plan. Let's dive into why creating your own financial independence isn't just empowering, it's essential.
In a lot of relationships, men do use the money to have the power and the control over the relationships. And that's one of the main reasons why I feel like women should always, no matter how comfortable you are in your relationship, no matter how much money your man makes, you have to be able to be self-sufficient. And you never know what happens down the road. And you always want to be prepared. I just feel like your man should want that for you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that as a woman, you should have your own money. Let's talk about it. I have seen so much being an esthetician with women, with friends, with family, with just being a woman, you know, you get to relate to other women. And one thing that I could never really understand is when my friends or my clients or women that I talk to in conversation, like, cannot leave toxic situations, cannot leave toxic relationships, cannot leave toxic friendships, cannot leave toxic environments. And it truly has always been because there is a lack of something, a lack of financial security, a lack of personal security, a lack of stability, a lack of desire to be authentic. I'm aware of the economy that we live in. I'm aware of the world that we live in. But I think that the ability of just having your own money as a woman and the opportunities that it brings you and it shows you and it molds you into is just different than when you don't have your own money.
The saddest things I see is as soon as a woman is with a man, and she could be a stay-at-home mom if she wants, but you can never depend on a man, even if you're married, and think you're not gonna work. And you want me to tell you why? If a man is making money, that's great. But as soon as he leaves you and he takes all his belongings, what do you have for yourself? You didn't study anything. It's been 20 years, you haven't worked. Stop depending on men. You're depending on men when look at the last 10 men you started dating. You're still single, right? Because you can't depend on them when it comes to your money. A lot of you women make this mistake. Stop depending on people to make money. Go work, go hustle, go get yourself an education while your husband's working, get an online education. Stop depending on them in a relationship. Become independent so in case, God forbid, something happens, you have a backup plan. A lot of y'all, you end up with no backup plan. Stop letting men take the lead. Y'all got to do some work too, because in your future, it matters. You want those kids to have everything, and you don't have to depend on the man. Some of y'all depend on the man. That's cool. But as soon as he leaves and he takes his stuff, what are you going to do? You're going to be homeless. So be careful. Start making yourself an independent woman. Become intelligent. Become the CEO. Don't fuck around and let these men take over your life, and then you have nothing. You have nothing.
Money is the biggest problem with all of this, because if every woman in this room was independent, if she was someone who had her own money, her own understanding of how to use it, and her own resources, marriage would take a very different view today. Because that is why we can all sit up here and say, well, I choose to be married. It creates freedom. You have a base. You've made yourself a root system. You've been able to stand on your own 2 feet because you have the freedom to survive.
I just stumbled upon a very interesting thing on the Social Security Administration's website. There's a 28-page document entitled What Every Woman Should Know. Look at the table of contents, like very standard until you kind of get towards the end. If you haven't worked or if you don't have enough Social Security credits, if you're divorced, if you're a caregiver, if you're a victim of family violence, I could not find a male equivalent document, like what every man should know about Social Security, and please correct me if I just missed it, but this is very interesting and very telling. I don't care if your lifestyle is like the sprinkle, you're a stay-at-home parent, whatever the deal is, get smart, get savvy, just like read about this stuff. The United States government is handing you this on a silver platter and being like, hey, here are all the crazy situations that are not impossible you might encounter. How Social Security will be impacted by that. Yeah, sure, okay, maybe Social Security might not exist or probably won't exist, but still. The point stands. It's more symbolic than anything else.
I don't care how much a man say he got you. As a woman, make sure you got your own money. Straight up.
I just quickly want to talk about the most common form of financial abuse that I see. And this is the financial abuse where, let's say a woman moves to another country, another state, another city to be with a guy. And because she's moved to this other country or city, she no longer can work, right? Like, of course, there's a lot of jobs online, but what if you had a job that was physical labor? What if you worked in a restaurant and now you're in a place where you don't have a work license? Or what if you're a real estate, someone who does real estate or someone who's a lawyer and you move to another state or another country? You can't just practice there, right? Or, you're in school and you all of a sudden drop out of school because you have to do that to be with this person. And then when you try to work or when you try to say, hey, I don't have enough money, and this person can be paying all your bills, but still personally, you don't have enough money. And this person goes, why would you want to work? I'm taking care of everything. And you literally get trapped in a situation where you cannot make a living for yourself. And then, you have maybe shared expenses or shared credit cards. It's not like you could just book yourself a ticket back home or go get yourself an apartment. Like, it's really bad. Another form of financial abuse is when guys say, if you work, you're never going to make as much money as I can give you or as much money as I make. So why would you even waste your time? I see this with so many moms. Like, you become a mom and then all of a sudden your husband or your child's father is like, why would you go and work and take time away from the kid? It costs all this money to put the kid in childcare, which could be true. But in reality, it's just cutting off your financial independence. Another form of financial abuse that I see is when everything is a facade. So you're living on credit cards. This person pays your rent directly. Like, you never actually have cash go into your account. I know girls who are living in penthouse in New York. They have Birkins. They have an Equinox membership. They have all this stuff, but they have zero cash. Everything's on a credit card and nothing is in their name. Because that way the guy knows that you can never leave. You never have cash. I mean, of course you can sell your bags and do different things like that. I've definitely done that before. And then the last form of financial abuse that I'm going to talk about is the type where you have a partner and they lie to you about everything financial. So this person could say that they're making 6 figures a year, and in reality, they're totally broke. You guys are living on credit cards. They're not being transparent with you about anything that's going on. So you continue to live your life, maybe thinking that your husband has it together. This is what happened to me, and one day I checked my credit card statement because my cards started getting declined different places. But I was still doing, I had this amazing life, like I said, Tesla, house in Malibu, whatever, traveling all over Europe. And I went to the store. I couldn't even get something for $5. And my name was on this credit card and he was letting me run it. But it was $30,000 had not been paid. So you ladies really need to watch out, because this is not with all generous guys, but some of them will do this. So be careful.
Financial abuse is extremely common. In fact, the National Coalition of Domestic Violence indicates that 99% of survivors of domestic violence continue to experience financial abuse well after the relationship has ended. So, what does that mean? That toxic baby daddy that is not paying child support, it's not because he doesn't really have the ability to pay it, it's because he doesn't want to pay it. It is all about power and control, right? And so what is it that we can do about these things? Well, there's several ways that we can continue to advocate for ourselves and for our children. And I am able to help lots of individuals and guide them down the path of looking for resources to help them, as well as their children, filing motions for contempt, filing show causes, filing even for child support, and guiding them down the path with social services. So if this sounds like something that you need help with, reach out to me. Let's set up a call so we can get on your case immediately and start figuring out how we can solve your issues that are going on in this situation, causing you a lot of financial stress. So my name is Bridget. I'm a custody specialist, legal strategist. I can't wait to hear from you. Shoot me a DM and I will send you the link so that we can set up a call.
Men being a provider is a tricky one. it's okay if that man has good intentions for you and actually loves you, but if that man is abusive and he comes to you as the provider and he wants you to quit your job and have babies and be financially dependent on them, this can be a tough one, because when you finally find out what they are like, you're too deep in, you're how many kids in, how many years in, how many years of marriage in, and you can't just get up and leave. So this is why it's tricky. Like, having a provider is all great, but make sure you have your own money as a woman to be able to exit, because a lot of the time women find out who these men are and they have to stay there for a year, for 2 years, 3 years, probably even longer than that, so they can study, get their life together, get a qualification, then get a job, then save at that job. And how long that is for you to just escape a person because you've relied on them. Especially if you've got 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kid, and there's cost of living to get up and leave an abusive person when you've always relied on them. It is tough. This is why, I've heard of men asking their woman, to quit her job, and she said no, and he's got upset because they've obviously had to pay for nursery fees and stuff like that. But when push comes to shove and this guy turns around and he's abusive, this woman can take herself out of that situation. She can put her and her kids in her car and go to her new property because she has the means to do so. If you don't, you're married, you don't have any money, you can't get benefits, let's just say, because you're married, it's a tough one. You're not going anywhere, and it can be so dangerous. Like, you're playing with your life. So they want you to be financially dependent on them. It's different if you both go to work. He might work more, you might do a part-time job, you might be able to save your money, fine, cool. But if he wants you to make nothing, if he wants you to be so dependent on him where you have to ask him for a drink from the shop that cost £1, £2, then that's a tricky one. But they want you to be dependent on them. They need that, because when you finally see them, because they know they can't uphold that mask for too long, they know they can't do that, then it's gonna be you're gonna tolerate the BS. I was gonna say the word. You're gonna tolerate the BS, and you're gonna be stuck. And they want you to be stuck. They want you to not be able to leave them and be financially free. So whether you got a provider or not, get your money, girl.
Why it is toxic for a man to put money in your Cash App after the first date? Here's the thing. Now, back in the day, I would think that was so awesome and so sweet and so attentive of the man. Oh my gosh. He cares about me. I'm special to him. What that means. First of all, let's talk about this, women. Financial responsibility. A lot of us are financially responsible on our own. A lot of us are financially educated. Many men, not all men, many men who have the means to financially contribute to a woman's life. Note, I didn't say support. I said contribute. Many of those men, not all, but many, use money to financially abuse women, to control women. Not all of them are narcissists, but there are some who use money to control the woman in their the woman in their life. And these men who start off day one giving you money, and I'm talking about a lot of money, without you mentioning the need for financial help or whatever, I don't know. Many of these men are doing it to see your reaction. Please be on alert when men take every little detail that you provide to them and take it and immediately woo you with those details. Because those same men later on are going to use those details to control you and abuse you. Again, not all men, many. I know women, we've been taught like, oh my God, to pay attention to those men who like the details, right? We've been taught to accept narcissistic love. That's why many of us fall in the trap of that mess. And men grow up, or boys grow up thinking that's how to love a woman. And again, women, you are not responsible for men's red flags. You are not responsible for their toxic behavior.
I want to start this video by saying that I'm not asking for money and I'm not asking for sympathy. What I'm asking for is if you are a young 14, 16, 21-year-old girl, listen up. I drove to the grocery store. I need to grab some milk and bread and a couple things, flipped open the bank app on my phone, and I've been sitting in my car crying ever since because I never have enough money. And why do I never have enough money? Because when I was a 19-year-old girl, I fell in love. My Mormon faith told me that I was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. I got married. I started having babies. I dropped out of college. I never had a career. My only jobs that I ever had in life were a waitress at the Olive Garden and managing a pretzel maker in a mall. Oh, my first couple years of marriage, I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I bought a windshield business. I was 20. And my Mormon stake president reminded me that women weren't supposed to work, so I quit my own business, handed it over to my husband, took my name off of it. I would work our family business throughout the next 24 years of my marriage, but I never got paid. I didn't have a salary. My name wasn't on it. I literally worked for room and board. That's it. I would eventually also launch a custom home building company with my uncle as the architect and my friends as the builder, my designs, my realtor. But again, because my husband was the man, his name was on all of the projects, his name was on the business. I remember one of the last custom homes that I built, we sold it and made about a $260,000 profit. That money all went into his bank account. I didn't even have a bank account. I should have said that in the beginning. I never had a bank account. He would give me little envelopes of cash to go grocery shopping with. Anyway, that house sells, the money goes in the bank. I just asked if I could buy myself a piano with the money. I had worked on building that house for 2 years. All of the money went into his bank account. Nothing was under my name. I got a piano and I got a free house to live in. And I got groceries. So I found myself divorced at age 44 just 5 years ago, and within just a few months I was living in my car while he made about $250,000. He would eventually quit that job so that he wouldn't have to pay alimony and child support. He has only paid alimony one time ever in the 5 years since we've been divorced. Once ever. Right after my divorce, I remember being really confident about my ability to get a job, so I put together a resume. I remember one of the first interviews that I had as a management position for a windshield company, similar to the one that we had run. And the man actually laughing as he was interviewing me, like he was really sympathetic. He wasn't being a douchebag, but he was laughing. And he's like, so let me get this straight. You helped manage your family windshield business with your husband, but you were mostly a stay-at-home mom, and all you did was like the marketing and the hiring, firing, and some of the strategy for the business. But it became really apparent that I needed so many more skills to have any type of management job. I couldn't even work the basic computers. He told me in the interview, please don't apply for any more jobs like this. You are not qualified at all. You're not capable of doing this unless you go back to school and get your degree or get some different experience. And so I ended up, my first job after my divorce was $11 an hour, 4 hours a day, working as an assistant to a school teacher in an elementary school. I made $44 a day. For 24 years, I lived in $1 million homes. I vacationed all over the world. I spent my summers in Hawaii. I could buy myself $500 jeans, diamond tennis bracelets. We had boats and RVs and whatever I wanted. And it never bothered me once that my financial security was dependent on that man being in love with me. I never realized that him liking me or not liking me or finding me sexy or attractive or interesting determined whether or not my children could eat, whether or not I could buy myself a fucking jug of milk and a loaf of bread. So I had my 5th surgery in 2 years, 2 weeks ago, and I'm supposed to be in bed resting, and I can't because I've worked 7 days a week since my divorce 5 years ago, which is why I'm covered in paint and looking like crap. We actually have a 4-day weekend here in Tucson, and since my partner isn't working, he's working on furniture flip partner projects with me. I have no retirement, I have no savings, no education, no resume. I was almost a straight A student throughout all of my education. I went to college at age 17. I had dreams for my future. I'm working so hard to get myself out of just perpetual side hustle hell. There's not a day that goes by that I don't wonder why. Why I didn't have a fucking backup plan. Why my kids eating and having stability was dependent on a romantic relationship. Why nobody told me to put money in the bank. Why nobody told me don't have babies until you have an education and some experience. Don't have so many kids. I wish somebody had told me to put my name on our vehicle loans and to put my name on our houses. I wish somebody had told me that it's okay to put those babies in daycare for a couple days a week and go to college and have a job. And I think I need to do an entire trad wife sequel, because you can be happy and rich and loving your life like Ballerina Farm until the guy walks out. I want you guys to imagine for a minute, even rich Hannah. If Deanna walked out, if all of his financial backing and he had to sell the farm, and then what does she have? Find another rich boy to marry? I just don't want one more woman to DM me, comment, send me their stories, cry to me about how hard it is for them to support their families, and I am so tired of living my own story. We have to make this stop. Raise your daughters to be financially independent. Focus on their futures and educations just as much as you focus on your sons. I wish that someone had done that for me.
Life is not a Disney movie nor a fairy tale. There's no magical prince riding in to save the day. Achieving financial independence is a path to freedom. It's the key to a soft life, a life where you make the choices, where you walk away from anything that doesn't support your peace, and where you're truly in control. This isn't just about money. It's about the power to live on your own terms, to shape your days, to protect your dreams. Creating this life takes discipline, planning, and commitment, but the rewards are worth every step. If you're ready to embrace this journey, hit the subscribe button. Together, we'll break down the tools, the tips, and the mindset to secure our financial future, to unlock the soft life we deserve.